Hello everyone and welcome to a new series of podcasts with myself, Liam Carroll, a qualified financial consultant with SYS Wealth and Financial Planners. And the idea of these podcasts is to give some valuable nuggets of information to people with some outstanding professionals being interviewed in order to give health to their wealth. I'm delighted today that we're joined by Barry Coffey of Coffey & Co. They're in business since 2008 and their tagline is Trusted Small Business Accountants. So they specialise in the owner-managed and family-run businesses. So thanks very much for taking the time to join us today, Barry.
You're welcome, Liam, and thanks a million for thinking of me.
No problem at all.
Yeah.
The first question, Barry, that we've asked everyone so far really is, on a personal level, how has the COVID affected you basically?
Well, personally, outside of business, I suppose we're much the same as everybody else. You know, kids are at home, climbing the walls, can't get out, you know. I suppose, you know, long and the short of it, everyone's routine is turned upside down.
Yeah, highly different than what it used to be.
Absolutely. We're 6 weeks into it now, so we're just getting into new routines, I suppose, really, do you know?
And hopefully you'll have to break those shortly and get back to the old ways.
Please God, yeah.
And from a professional point of view, Barry, how has it affected the business?
Well, the first 2 weeks of it, Liam, were absolutely nuts, as you can imagine, because businesses were closing down.
Yeah.
We would deal with a lot of like publicans, restaurants, hairdressers, people directly affected, dealing with the public who had to close their businesses. So there was a lot of confusion around, you know, the temporary wage subsidy scheme. Should they apply for that? Should they deal with the pandemic payment? So for the first 2 weeks, it was essentially dealing with clients who were closing and looking for supports from government.
Yeah, it's amazing the way it affects businesses differently, isn't it, like that? And you might be finding a bit of a quieting down now, I suppose, from it, like, but...
Yeah, well, I suppose we got through the initial 2 weeks, everyone was pretty much sorted. After that, it was a case of touching base with clients week on week, just letting them know that we were here if they needed a hand and what supports were available for them, you know? Yeah,
no, that's... And I suppose, using your own accountancy background, Barry, you're in accountancy for a number of years. Any tips for people that during the pandemic that they can make use of their time, that they'll be better fixed when they come out of it?
Yeah, the one tip I used to always give business before any pandemic, Liam, was that cash is king, you know. Yeah. And even in the current circumstances, even more so. You know, I heard somebody say recently that cash is more important than your mother, but the one thing that will kill a business is no cash. So what businesses need to do now is protect cash flow as much as possible.
More than ever.
More than ever, exactly, yeah.
Even outside of the pandemic, is there any breaks or legislation currently in place that are totally, in your opinion, underutilised in the industry that people could take more advantage of and are not doing at the moment? I'm
not sure how utilised it, otherwise they are, but a lot of people, you know, for starters, revenue have given a break for people. They're not saying don't file your returns, you still need to file your returns, but revenue will deal with businesses on an individual basis, you know, for installment arrangements. They're not going to send taxes for enforcement. They're not going to charge interest on overdue taxes. So for now, in order to protect cash, people should really take a look at whether or not they're going to pay their VAT and POA liabilities. The local enterprise offices from business we deal with, the LEOs, are giving you know, grants of $2,500 for trading online voucher. Also for business interruption, there's $2,500. So I'm not sure how many businesses are aware of those, but they're definitely something that.
There's definitely not common knowledge out there, I've no doubt. At the moment, even during the pandemic, you're available for Zoom calls, phone calls, emails, mails, etc., etc. Barry, your opening hours have changed slightly, I presume.
Well, we're still available all hours, really.
Available,
yeah, the accountants are classed as an essential profession, you know, or an essential service. So, we're still meeting clients, you know, dealing with
different times.
Yeah.
And I suppose the best bit of advice, I'm going to ask you this in two parts, Barry. The best bit of advice you ever got from a professional point of view, and the best bit of advice you ever got from a personal point of view for the viewers.
Yeah, I'm not sure that anybody ever came along and said, look, this is a good piece of business advice, use it. I think, personally, I think you have to learn from your mistakes. You know, I think it was Warren Buffett said, you know, you don't have to do everything right so long as you don't do too many things wrong, you know.
Yeah.
Persistence is key. Learn from your mistakes. and persist, keep at it. Was it Einstein is attributed with, definition of madness, doing the same thing over and over and again and expecting a different result. If something's not working, change it. Learn from your mistakes and keep going. And experience is the best teacher, really, Liam.
Yeah, which we've all made that mistake, but anyway, just to try and learn from your mistakes. Barry, thanks very much for taking the time to join us today. The idea of these podcasts is that they're short, and I think there's some fabulous nuggets of information for people inside there. And Barry's details will be at the start of the presentation, as you've seen, and they're also at the end of the presentation. So if you have any queries whatsoever, Barry is top of his game, and he'd be more than happy to help you out with any of the queries you mentioned in the podcast. So thanks very much again, Barry.
Thanks, Liam. More than welcome.
Thank you.